Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Bezad.
My name is Risa.
And welcome to the Wonder Looper weekly live stream. We are broadcasting live from Yokohama, Japan. It is Saturday, October the 18th here in Japan. Friday, October the 17th for many out there in the West tuning in live. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Hope you're having a good day. We've got a lot of fun topics to talk about today, including a bunch of FoxFibre updates that we've got. We're going to go into some nitty gritty, some deep dives, some things I don't, in fact, understand all that much because it has to deal with chemistry, and Lord knows I wasn't a chemistician. That's right.
Neither was I.
Yeah, but maybe there are some very smart people in the chat who might be able to, get us up to speed on the chemistry. But anyway, we're going to show you some of our findings here. Let's check in with the chat, see where everybody is tuning in from. We've got Mr. Jason Scott. Looking forward to catching up in the morning. Always with the first comment. Hit that like button, everyone. Yeah, let's start off the live stream with a nice little like rush. So everybody hit that like button. Mm-hmm. Let's let the people know that what we're up to over here in the Wonder Looper live stream. Mr. BD, hello, chilly today here in Southern Ontario, Canada. We've got the Wonder Looper double heavyweight tee, 701 GSM cherry hoodie, wool socks, and a King of Slub 2 jeans. Cozy, can't wait for the FoxFibre hoodie release.
It's a lot of cotton that you're...
A lot of heavyweight
carrying,
cotton. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool in Southern Ontario. It's getting there. And we've got the 811 Gregor sending their love from the UK. And they were wondering if we could do a comparison of a double heavyweight sweatshirt and a double heavyweight pullover hoodie. Is the hoodie a more relaxed fit? All right. Well, we'll do that. We'll do that comparison for you today as well. We'll deep dive into the next release, the FoxFibre double heavyweight French cherry, coming in two colors: the classic Coyote 80 and the new Iron Mordant edition. So we'll get into that one as well. Raymond Torres is greeting us from New York City, looking forward to next week's releases. And the temperatures are, I guess they're dropping in the northeast right now. So it's the right time for some heavyweight sweatshirts. And we got Pierre Moreau. Good to see you, my friend, from Guelph, Ontario, rocking my new Iron Mordant FoxFibre heavyweight waffle. I picked it up from Langton at Gerhard in Toronto, Canada, my hometown. I saw the Jays. They're playing this morning. They tied up with the Seattle Mariners 2-2. Important game 5 right now. I don't know.
Now? Is it happening?
It's happening right now. I don't know what the score is, but
all right. Well,
I'm rooting for my Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah, keep me posted in the chat. Let me know what's going on. I appreciate anybody who will do that for me. All right, we've got so many people checking in from everywhere. We've got Kevin Owens. Is it the Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens from Quebec, WWE sensation. Kevin Owens. Perhaps it is. I think it probably is. But they're checking in from Fort Worth right now. I'm a Team Kevin Owens guy. So there you go. Yukon Salvage, hello from the Yukon. Good to see you, my friend. And a pimp named Slickback is always here. And Solvents from Scotland. Kafan says hello. We've got Nick Pugh checking in from Seoul, South Korea. And we've got the Raven in the house. Hello from SoCal, Southern California, wearing my Wonder Looper white Pima and black Kojima jeans. Fantastic. Don Chaco likes the thumbnail for this week's video. And that photo was sent to me by Miss Sally Fox herself yesterday. We had a fun conversation learning all about what's going on her farm right now. All right, and BD says he likes the basketball net. Yeah, we put that one up yesterday just for a little
activity.
You got to have an office with a basketball net. We're very much inspired here by the good people at Dunder Mifflin, and they had a basketball net in their warehouse, so we got to have a basketball net in our warehouse as well. Yeah. Go Punta Cana Real Estate. Jays 2-1 Mariners, bottom of the 6th.
Oh.
All right,
All
go
right.
go Jays go. And Jason Curtis says, counting down the days till I get my baby cashmere hoodie. So excited to sink into that cloud
Me too.
of softness.
Oh, me too.
What is the update with baby cashmere, Miss Risa?
It is. I think it's on track to arrive in everybody's hands by everybody who ordered. By Christmas, before Christmas.
Okay.
It is probably unlikely to get there before, American Thanksgiving, but Christmas, I think we're on track.
Okay. So that's the latest update on it.
Yes. There's been a lot of,
Yeah.
so, and, we're not like done yet. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Everything just kind of, last minute things happens. I don't want to get in too much into it, but we're making sure that's our ultimate goal deadline. It's like we want everybody who ordered to be able to wear it on Christmas because it's such a special piece, and I'm looking forward to wearing mine on my Christmas. So
yeah, this is always the challenge with pre-orders, right?
Yes. Pre-orders, we kind of promise a timeline and we have to follow that. And, because we pre-sold, there's a lot that we don't have to deal with when we're just selling an item that's ready. But at the same time, production, all kinds of things, it just happens. And especially something when you're making something for the first time, right? Like when it's a new product, it's a new fabric, and everything is new. So that's the difficulty. And if we were to do it again, I think it would be a little bit easier because we all know, like everybody in the pipeline would know what to expect and all that things.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I guess the major difference between like a pre-order sale and a like a product release for us is that the product release is like we have the inventory, we made the inventory, and we release it out to the general public. Did we hit the exact mark with it every time? I'm gonna say that most of the time we don't, mostly because there's you never know who you didn't sell to in those situations. That's right. True. Yeah. Because if I were to make, say, 10 size larges and the 10 size larges sell out, I don't know if there's 10 more people who would have bought it, who didn't buy it. Could I have made more? I don't know. And so like, even when it comes to like future planning, you don't really know where your missed opportunities are because you're really only basing your sales on historical sales. And we have these back in stock reminders, and you have your little gut instincts here and there as well. So
yeah, it just depends on how fast a certain size sells, right, or something like that.
But the benefit of selling something that we have stock of is that you get it right away, right? And when it comes to pre-orders, obviously you don't get it right away. You have to wait for the production to happen. And if there's any hiccups along the way, well, then those are hiccups along the way. And, some people are understanding of those hiccups. Some people are less understanding of those hiccups. And, it's a lot of things to manage when you do have a problem or a slowdown or anything like that. So as far as like the future of baby cashmere pre-orders, I'm actually not sure how we'll handle it. I don't know if we'll just go ahead and make like a small bulk run and hope that people want it again, or if we'll try the pre-order route again, and maybe it'll be a little bit smoother this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the second time, third time, it will always be smoother than the first time. So yeah. I'm confident in that, and the fact that carrying a inventory, taking the risk on, like holding that inventory that's worth,
a lot of dough.
Dollars.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a, I don't know. Ugh.
Yeah. So anyhow, we'll see where it goes, but I'm very excited to get it. I want people to have it. I want people to enjoy it. And I would also say that having a pre-order is like one of these sort of lingering things. It's just one of these. I'm a to-do list guy, and I like checking off the thing. And it's just like, here's a thing where I want it to be done, but of course I don't have, even if I could, make it all happen in 1 second, like I to be fair, I can't. But it's just I want that off the checklist. It's like there's a bunch of things that I want to do, and
yeah.
Anyhow.
Especially with like having the orders open, like it drives me nuts because like it just
in
like,
the system you see these orders that are open,
and even when we're like caught up, there's always that like amount that's just sitting there, and it's driving me nuts.
But like when on big release days, we I like to see that number, however many orders come in that day, like I just wanted that number to go down, but like when there's pre-orders in the system, that number can never be zero.
So that's how I feel about embroidery sometimes too, because it's just like those orders, like I don't know which one's like the embroidery to do, and then I want to be able to kind of see that number, and then there's the pre-orders, and there's like holds, order holds, and anyways.
Anyhow, that's the situation with that, but it is coming soon, and you'll definitely be able to enjoy it this winter, and it'll keep you nice and cozy, that's for sure. We've got Jason Curtis in the house saying hello from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So excited for the new releases. Well, thank you very much. New release-wise, we have, we announced it last week, the double heavyweight FoxFibre French Terry, the FoxFibre double heavyweight French Terry. FoxFibre double heavyweight French Terry.
Yes.
Those are coming next week. So we're going to have those available on October the 23rd at 11 a.m. Eastern. That is October the 24th at 12 midnight Japan time. So, do your time math if you're in a different time zone, but that is the release time. And that is the release time for us on wonderlooper.com. That will certainly vary from retailer to retailer. Some retailers will do exactly the same time as us. Sometimes they're a little bit earlier. It depends on their time zone. Sometimes the Europeans do it a little bit earlier just because, a lot of people tend to like doing releases in the morning, and European morning is different. Anyhow, check in with your local retailer because it will certainly vary. And if you want to check in with your local retailer, you can now, because I just posted a list of all the retailers. That's not the right thing. I just posted a list of all the retailers on wonderlooper.com, your favorite website. So, of course, you can browse the collection on our website right now. We have all the photos and descriptions. That's the old video. It doesn't include the iron mordant, but, you still get the gist of it. Measurements, all that stuff is here for you to check through. But the other thing that we added is the retailer availability. So you can find it right here on the front page, and you can also find it right here as you scroll down on the bottom. FoxFibre double heavyweight French Terry release information. So click there, and then we have the list. So this is the Coyote 80. Those are the retailers. These are the fits, and then the Iron Mordant retailers and fits. So I think I organized it a little bit better this time for everybody. So if you're looking for a pullover crewneck, Standard and Strange has got you for a pullover crewneck and the Iron Mordant, Naked and Famous denim, Jean Store, Gerhard Supply. So you can go through the list. I think it's organized nicely, and you can check in with your local guy. So be sure to do that, especially if you're looking for something specific. Of course, we try to carry as much stock as we can, but in the chance that you can't get it on our site, have a backup plan as well. And I think if you do have at least one backup plan, guaranteed to get what you're looking for.
Yeah. And, it's easiest to purchase from your local retailer. So if your local retailer has the item that you're looking for, maybe you try there first.
Yeah. The other benefit of that, of course, is if you have to deal with returns or exchanges or things like that, of course, it's easier to do it in your own local jurisdiction. If you're in the EU, well, returns and exchanges are going to be a lot easier than having to, send them back to America or sending them back to Japan. The biggest problem is that those duties that you pay, they don't come back, right? You don't get those back. And then when we send the replacement out, you got to pay it again. So especially for an expensive item like this,
it makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference. So, number one, know your size. double check that measurement guide and make sure you've got the size locked in. And if you're not sure, you know, maybe it's your first purchase, whatever it is, try to do it locally. Try to do it locally.
Or like in your country, or in your, you know,
regional, regional jurisdiction, economic jurisdiction. So that's the update, the things that you need to know about the release. We've got some Jays updates here. 2-1 Toronto in the 7th inning. There you go. Still up. And we've got DC in the house. I like my good friend, Mr. Daniel. Says, what's up, Baysat and Reese? I miss you guys. Let's link up during your Toronto trip. Go, Jays. Go. You know we will. Check in with you, my friend. That's Daniel Carmen over there from Over the Rainbow in Toronto. One of the premier denim shops in all of Canada land.
It must be fun to be in Toronto right now. Everybody's probably like really...
I would imagine the last time we were in this position was 1993. And, you know, I'm sure Daniel remembers. I certainly remember. The young ones don't, but it was a magical time to be excited about baseball in Canada. We only have one team in all of Canada, so you gotta support it.
Years ago.
That's it. I know I feel old, but I just remember the 91-92 and the 92-93 seasons. And
yeah, you were old enough.
I guess I was old enough. Yeah, second and third grade, something like that. Third and fourth grade, something like that. No, fourth and fifth grade. That's when it went down. Arif in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Hello from Chicago. Wearing my new Fox 70 Henley and MIJ 15s. Great combination. And then Vincent C says, I was able to pick up the blanket stripe indigo hoodie from Denali and the crew from Standard and Strange. Simply amazing quality. Well, you got, yeah. You're I would say one of the rare ones that have two of those pieces. Because there's a lot of folks out there who couldn't get one. And anyhow,
especially the hoodies.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the next release, this double heavyweight FoxFibre.
Yeah, I just want to show off. Okay, I'm gonna bring them over.
Yeah. So when we're placing an order, when we're making like decision on how many we make, we obviously have less information about which one's going to be more popular, and we still don't know. To be fair, until we release everything, we don't know. But we do get like a whiff of which items are going to be a little bit more popular than the other, I feel.
Yeah.
And in case of this series of items that we're going to have, the new card, by the way.
New card.
We got this yesterday. In this world, I think the most popular item, or like, you know, as opposed to how many we're gonna have, you know, the interest level is high in the zip hoodies. Yeah.
So if you're looking for a zip hoodie, you might have a bit of a war with others people.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we did like a lot of our retailers have them, so you know, it's spread.
Yeah.
I would say maybe unlike the indigo. Indigo was not every single retailer had them.
Right. This one is a lot more spread out.
Have carried this series, so it's a little bit more spread out. But on our end, maybe the hoodie is going to be a little bit scarce. Scarce. The Iron Mordant kind, to be exact.
Okay.
Right?
No, I think
it's less numbers in Iron Mordant.
Anyhow,
although I mean, you know, again, it's more expensive, so maybe the demand is a little bit lower, but who knows?
Yeah, you're looking at the numbers more than I am. But I wanted to show people there was that request for the comparison of the Crewneck sweatshirt and the pullover hoodie, and are they, you know, much different? And I would say like comparing them, and you can see here, like fit wise, they're very similar. But of course, you know, if you compare it I would say that the crew neck might have like a slight, they might be just a minuscule amount shorter in the length. But that's really about it. So fit wise, they're very similar. But yeah, the crew neck might be just a little bit shorter. I would also say that this has been on the hanger a lot longer than this has been, so that might have contributed to that. As far as shrinkage is concerned, you can expect about 3 to 5%, which is like a very normal sort of small amount of shrinkage when it comes to knitwear. And when you do experience a little bit of shrinkage, sometimes you might feel that, hey, you know what, the length is what I want, but the width might not be what I want, or vice versa, right? You know, but that's an easy sort of fix, because what you can do there is, say for example, like you like sort of, if it shrunk a little bit in length and you like that length and you want to leave it that way, well then just leave it that way. You don't have to worry about it. But if you want to get some of that width back, you just take the garment and you just stretch it out like this, right? Up and down, stretch it out like this, and then you'll get some of that shrinkage right back. So you can retain or regain most of that shrinkage. And the same thing with the length. You know, if the sleeves, say if you feel like the sleeves have shrunk a little bit more than you wanted, you can just pull the sleeves like that, and then you'll get that stretch, that shrink right back. What I'll usually do is I'll hit it with a little bit of steam and then a little bit of stretch, and you're good to go. That said, because we do expect a 3 to 5% shrinkage on these, they are generally cut a little bit bigger to account for that.
Yeah.
So,
and one thing you notice with the heavier fabrics is that when, you know, like if it's a lighter fabric, it's a little bit too oversized, like it kind of drapes and you don't even kind of feel that. Whereas like with heavier fabrics, like when it's too big, then you kind of feel it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you wash it and it just kind of feels right or something like that. So there is a difference between like, you know, maybe, you know, if your favorite sweater that you're taking the measurements from is really, really lightweight, then you need to kind of account for the difference in the fabric weight as well.
Yeah. Drew says, I just got a Henley, but it looks like a crew neck, very thick and soft. Yeah.
It's as heavy as
a sweatshirt. Yeah. It's a beefy boy, that's for sure. Could you wear the FoxFibre sweatpants? Mr. Drew asks. You know what?
Could you wear?
I'm gonna do it.
All right.
I'm gonna go grab a pair.
You're wearing a FoxFibre trouser.
I'm wearing FoxFibre trousers right now, but I'll go put on the FoxFibre sweatpants for you.
One form of FoxFibre to another. Okay. It's Arif says, definitely want to get the full set from Blue Owl and the Black Fleece FoxFibre. Want to coin the term the Yokohama tuxedo. Yokohama tuxedo is the sweatshirt and the sweatpants. Hoodie and the sweatpants. Jacob Grubb says, do you expect the Black Fleece FoxFibre zip hoodie to also be the favorite? I don't know about that. Those one, I feel like in fleece FoxFibre, like zip hoodie and pullover hoodies, kind of like this. You know, it's hard to tell. I feel like with double heavyweight, because the fabric is so heavy and it's kind of like a jacket level, that maybe a lot of people prefer to wear it as a zip hoodie, where, you know, it's more like a jacket that you can, you know, kind of take on, like wear on and off. Maybe that's the thing. So I don't know about that. Let's see, we read that comment. Davey Boy says, for my size, the hoodie is an inch more on a pit to pit than the sweatshirt, which is nice to have the sweatshirt slightly more fitted and the hoodie a bit relaxed. Yeah, so that was kind of our thinking, that like with, you know, with crew neck, maybe you would want to wear a jacket over, or like, you know, maybe you can kind of wear in the as a layer a little bit more than a hoodie, because it doesn't have the hood, obviously. So that's why I think we did a slightly slimmer cut in the crew neck in the chest.
Revealed. Okay. So these are this is a size medium. I wear, my waist is like a 32. I wear like a 32 in my jeans. And this is what a size medium looks like on me. I did fold up the hem a little bit because they're a little long. But that's it. That's how they fit. Not too baggy, not too tight, obviously. And I do have that rib side paneling here, so that's going to move and stretch out with you as you need. And yeah, that's these are them. I mean, they're just a heavy duty, solid sweatpant, and
Looks very handsome.
size medium there. Mm-hmm. So there you have it, and maybe I'll throw on a crewneck, do the full tuxedo.
Yeah. So what Bezet was wearing earlier was the FoxFibre trousers from Big John. Our friends at Big John gave us access to those pants. It was it's a very nice trousers. And I think Arif said that, yeah, I have those Big John FoxFibre trousers. You're matching with Arif.
Nice.
You often match it with Arif.
And there's the full tuxedo here. Right. Again, my weight, I'm currently like around 165. I'm 5'9". And this is what a medium looks like on me. Obviously, it's not like tight, but it's also not like super, super baggy. It just has sort of that classic like looser fit. And now I'm just fully iron mordant FoxFibre camo. If I was in a pile of these sweatshirts, I would be unrecognizable. You wouldn't be able to see me.
It's barely, it's hard to see now because you're blending in with the
blending in with the background. So that's the crewneck for you. Those are the sweatpants, and it's a great combination. Beautiful colors here as well. Just super super thick. Something that you're gonna enjoy in the fall.
If anybody else sees this is just like a sweatshirt, just homeware, loungewear. But it is a very.
There were some juicy couture sets back in the day that probably would have rivaled this price point, and I think these are.
Yeah, it was sure.
I'm just saying, back in the day, boy, did we like! I used to work I used to do a lot, but I was in women's wear for a while, and we sold a lot. And this is at the height of juicy couture. I don't know if anybody of my age group remembers it.
I remember.
Yeah, you remember it. Yeah. But you're of my age group. If you're like 22 right now, you probably don't remember Juicy Couture.
They were barely alive then, right?
When? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
yeah.
Anyhow, I remember I saw like an Instagram reel of like some girl being like, "Hey, look, I found like this vintage Juicy Couture set," and I'm like, "Vintage?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute. Yep, that's about right. It's like 20-something years old."
Yeah. They say 20 years it's vintage,
well,
right?
There you go.
I did, I have this, LL Bean denim shirt that I often wear, and, I kind of retrieved it from my parents' house, after I moved back as an adult, and, you realize I don't exactly know when I bought that or when my parents bought it for me, but I think that's officially a vintage, and it's an LLB, my own vintage.
Right. That's great.
And then it's a made in Canada.
Even better.
LLB.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shirt.
Yeah. The Raven says, at 25 years old, as the 25-year-old in the chat, I have no idea what that is. All right. Yeah, well, Google it. You'll enjoy the imagery.
But it's now everybody's kind of reviving that I don't know Y2K. You would definitely see it.
I don't know. I find that it pops up in fashion circles on Instagram, but I never see it in real life.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not saying in real life, but you see it's like when you look up Paris Hilton, It's just that's all you see.
I guess so. Yeah, those early days.
Yes.
The early days of fame. But anyhow, this is our advanced, tougher version of that, I would say. Less bedazzles, less jewelry, but
higher rise.
Yeah, higher rise, definitely a higher rise, and certainly made to last. If the apocalypse came, this is what I would want to be wearing. I'm just trying to see. Sean asked, does the Iron Mordant feel any different? Feels no different. If you wear this or the conventional Coyote 80, it feels exactly the same. As far as like the physical touch of the material,
the same.
I mean, maybe there's some slight, microscopic detail difference here and there, which I couldn't physically tell. But yeah. Sometimes people ask me, like, is there a difference between this and this? And I'm like, my analytical brain is like, technically, like, but in reality, you're not going to see it. Yeah. Okay. So this is the set, and just give you one more look at that. I might just wear the pants for the rest of the stream. So yeah, there you have it. Top, bottom. You can go with the pullover if you want. We also have the zip hoodie in this as well. Wear it as a set, wear it on its own. And I just think this tone really wears well, of course, with if you want to go with the set or with blue jeans or like khakis, like what Reese is wearing.
Yeah.
So like, look at the pairing here. Like Reese is wearing the Iron Mordant t-shirt, and like the pairing here is right. It's like denim.
It goes with denim. Yeah. It goes with like army fatigue kind of things. It goes with the black. It goes with silver.
Yeah. It is such a perfect color. Mm-hmm. So it pairs with anything you could have in your rugged wardrobe. So I think it just slides right in there. So and again, whether you want to wear it in double heavyweight French terry, you want to wear it in the Henley, you want to wear it in the Tsuriami t-shirts, we've got you covered there as well. It's really something, I know that the t-shirts and the Henley side t-shirts are sold out. There might be an I don't know. I hadn't checked the inventory, but there might be something. But the Henleys, I know the smaller sizes are gone. They'll be back. Of course, they're going to be back again.
Next year. Yeah,
right.
Next year. So yeah, somebody asked earlier, restock on those. Yes, it will be the next year, next fall batch. Yeah. So it's going to be a while. But we will be getting the Henleys in Cashmere blend.
Yeah.
Honeycomb. So it's a different fabric. It's not as heavyweight as the FoxFibre Henleys, but the waffle.
Still a heavy duty. Yeah.
Very heavy duty and very, very cozy. So we don't have the proper ETA on that yet, but we will soon, hopefully.
Yeah, we will soon. So another thing I wanted to talk about, because I just wanted to segue into, we have this yarn, we have this colored cotton available in a couple of items, but we want to make it available in even more, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what our next project is going to be all about. And we've been working on this for a while, but like we're starting to finally get some, there's always planning and then you get the samples. So we finally just got some samples, and I want to show them to you guys. Okay, so I'll start with these. Whoa. And so this is the first sample of our new FoxFibre knit cap. So
you're gonna be like fresh. So,
right. So
FoxFibre now.
We got the knit caps. So the skull caps, however way you want to call it, beanies. So we have them here. This is we've made two samples so far. This is with a little bit of a wider rib. I would say that like a lot of conventional knit caps are sort of made in this style right now, like the more modern knit cap. And then this one we have to figure out, because I don't know if we're gonna go. Anyhow, they're making us another sample of this one, but this one, I was doing a bit of research on. It looks great on you. It was doing a little research on knit caps, and of course, there's a lot of history that goes behind them, and a lot of times, like a lot of the rugged wear stuff that we like, there's oftentimes a military story behind it. Mm-hmm. So as I was looking into it, I realized, and I found this story, and I found the instructions for the Red Cross, and what they had done was, while in World War II, while many of the men were serving overseas, they asked the women who were staying behind if they could knit caps for the soldiers. So it was basically like, here's a thing that you can do to help the effort, and they had a particular spec. So they had these instructions on how to make it to the mill spec, something that you can make at home, the size of yarn, the type of yarn, and like the knitting pattern. So this is, I found that exact spec sheet that they sent out, and we had it made, and this is it. Now, it looks a little off because it looks a little wavy here at the bottom. That is something that we're working on fixing for the next production, though. As wavy as it sort of looks at the bottom right now, you can see it here. When you have it on the head, the waviness is gone because it just wraps nicely. So this is more of the traditional mill spec version, though it is a little bit of a different construction, and we have to refine this a little bit more. So this is a way for us. Number one, we're going to decide on which. I don't think we're going to make both.
No.
Right?
Not right now.
Not right. Yeah. Right. So, who knows, right? But to start, we're going to start with one fit. So it might be this, it might be that. Personally, I'm leaning a little bit more towards this, even though I really do enjoy the story of this one. Anyhow, I don't think either one is better than the other, to be real. But I
right now we're like, our focus is that we want to have this ready for like pre-Christmas.
Yeah.
Like everything is just like, if we miss the Christmas time, like, it's a little bit of a shame, especially for things like small things like this. It's a great gift item. It's a great, thing to kind of add to everything else that we make. So I think we're just wanting to hit I know that like you can basically wear cotton beanies for like basically all year, but Christmas time is a special time, and that's why we're kind of rushing.
Yeah, we're definitely rushing to get these out.
Yeah, so that's why we're like, I think something like this where it's like always, it's already good as is an easier option. But we'll see what happens. We'll make the final decisions in the very near future. Yeah, and but
Yeah, I was gonna say, but like a lot of the idea here was so that because we're making all these yarns, we have these products. Sometimes, you might find yourself, hey, you know what? I got enough sweatshirts. Maybe I got enough t-shirts or whatever it is, right? But you like the item, you like the cotton, you want to be able to enjoy it. So I wanted to find other ways that we can make products at different price points so that you can enjoy, like whether you want to enjoy it in double heavyweight French terry form or you want to wear it in cap form, it'll be the exact same yarn, right? So you can enjoy this cotton in a lot of different ways. And so we want to just have some products available for you in that realm. So knit caps, eventually, anyway, we are working on socks. We haven't got the samples yet, but socks are in the pipeline.
Yes.
And
that's also very cutting close to potentially being ready for Christmas. But well, also like at the same time, it's like once we develop it, maybe we don't make this Christmas, but we will always have it. So that's same.
So the first batch, we're planning on doing the Coyote, 70 or 80, I don't remember exactly. Coyote 80, and then we're also right. So I don't remember. I will have to double check this sheet.
Wait, it's
either 70 or 80.
We talked about 80. I think it's 80. Okay, I think it's 80. Yeah.
So.
Yes.
There's that, and then we want to do an iron mordant edition. So
Imagine wearing this outfit with the iron mordant hat. It would be a cult leader.
That's it. We're gonna start a new branch. Cult of FoxFibre.
To be fair, Sally needs to be the leader.
She needs to be the leader. Yeah. But there is going to be a difference in the iron mordant, actually, because this iron mordant is made with the buffalo cotton variety and then with an iron mordant. But what Sally made for us was something special. And that's this. So we have some cotton.
Wait, this is coyote.
This is coyote.
Yeah.
Right.
You just said buffalo.
Sorry. This is coyote. So there's a few varieties of FoxFibre, for example, and they all have some, they have a variety of colors that they express, right? And the expression of the color can sometimes vary on, the climate, the growing. Basically, it depends on the climate, whether it's the weather, the amount of sun, rain, earth, what it's growing in can make the colors express differently, right? So this is what we've learned actually with this sort of latest batch, and this is the conventional coyote that we use for most of the things that we make. And Sally grew us this. We were asking for saffron, and this is what she grew for us. And this was literally planted by Sally, grown on her farm. So this came from her nursery farm. So there wasn't too much of this made, but she made it for us. And saffron is this variety here. So you can see it here. It's very red. And that's what we were aiming for with this one. But, she did a smaller plot. And you know what? I would say that this batch didn't come out quite as red as anticipated, right? And that's sort of the things that you got to deal with when you're dealing with these sort of specialty cottons. And that's okay because, there is something special that this can still do. And so you have the coyote variety here. And you have the saffron, and they kind of look very similar. Really up close, you might notice some differences here, but they look very similar. But what really sets them apart here is when you iron mordant them, because the colors that they express are significantly different.
This is coyote iron mordant.
So that's coyote iron mordant. So you can see it goes from this color, the brown, to the dark brown here. And then
this is saffron, regular. So regular state, not too much of a difference. Saffron iron mordant, it's a lot darker,
right? When
it's iron mordanted.
Yes. So
like a lot more black, like a lot more gray, I guess.
Yeah.
So to black.
The coyote and the saffron in their original state from this batch, very similar. But after the iron mordanting, very different, much, much darker. So the iron mordant that we're going to be using for the caps is going to be this one right here. And
no.
Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty sure
it's coyote, but iron sulfate.
No, I'm pretty sure it's this.
Okay. We'll find out.
We're going to find out. So, okay, well, anyways.
Pretty sure it's coyote.
This is what happens. It's live programming, everybody. I'm pretty sure it's this. But even still, this is something that we have in our arsenal, so to speak, so that this will be coming in either cap or some other product form. But now I'm confused because there's a lot of things happening.
So I was confused of where you were going, but okay, we'll clarify this obviously. But the iron mordant that we're gonna use, my understanding, let's explain that, is that iron mordant we're gonna use for the caps will be Coyote 80, the same yarn as this color 80 brown,
okay,
but mordanted in iron sulfate. Mordanted?
Yes.
Iron. They use iron sulfate for iron mordanting, which turns the color a little bit darker than the iron oxide. Oxide?
Sure.
Oxide. Yeah. So there's two different types of mordant agent, and that's both iron based, but iron sulfate and iron mordant, iron oxide. So I don't really know because I don't remember anything from chemistry in high school. I do not know, but I think there's a difference, and the iron sulfate turns the color a little bit darker. So it's not going to be exact match to this color per se. It's going to be a little bit darker.
Okay.
That's my understanding, and we'll clarify that with the mail.
All right. Anyhow, there's a lot of information that sort of poured in on us the last couple of days. So one or both of us are confused about what's going on.
But either way, we know that the Iron Mordant version is going to be darker than this Iron Mordant color.
Yes. One way or the other. Okay. So that's what's going on there. But anyhow, a little bit of variety, variation there to show off.
Yes. The reason why we show that off, and again, my understanding is that we get to use that, saffron variety in a small amount, but we'll use it in the future.
Yes.
So it's going to be, still brown cotton, FoxFibre cotton, but it's a slight variation, different variation from Coyote variant.
Okay.
That's where everybody else is using currently. Anybody who uses like FoxFibre brown is basically using Coyote.
Yes.
That's what's available, but we're going to have some special batch of saffron.
Right. And an iron mordanted saffron.
As well.
So yes, grown by Sally herself. That was a special request. Mm-hmm. So that will be coming soon from us, and by soon, at some point. Okay, Kevin Owens, bottom of the 8th, Seattle tied it 2-2 with the Jays.
All right. Well,
all right.
This is exciting.
We'll see where it goes. Yeah. Thank you for the update, Mr. Kevin, Mr. Owens, Mr. Steen, Kevin Steen. I know it's the real Kevin Owens here. Some wrestling for everybody. Stephen Kopelkamp says, the saffron have more tannins in it. Yes. That is why it is darker. It has more red in it because it contains more tannin in this particular variety. Yeah. And you know what? Yesterday when we were talking to Sally, because we were talking about green. And green is one of these things that's just a mega challenge to grow, but she's doing it, and we're gonna make it happen because we really want to get that green cotton out to everybody. And if you do follow her on our Instagram, you can see like sort of the progress that is coming along with green. I'll pull it up on the Instagram here. Hold on a second. Come on. Sorry. There we go. And so if you do follow Sally, which I would recommend that you do, you can see the progress that is happening over in on her farm. And this is the green that is really, showing off some incredible progress. And you can see just how green that cotton is. So we're hoping to have this, I would say soon, but it's soon in my mind, it's like, I understand how long it takes to get it. So it's not 10 years away. It's not 5 years away. It's probably 1 to 2 years away, weather permitting. Yeah. So this is something that we're really looking forward to having. And it's, even in our conversation yesterday, it's bespoke, right? It's cotton grown for this, particularly for this. So it's something that we're looking forward to. And the existence of green, if you've ever heard Sally talk about it, basically comes from a request from Japan. There was a garment that they were trying to recreate for the emperor that was made with a green cotton, and they heard about Sally and they asked her to grow it, and she was able to do that. And this was, I think, in the early 90s. And since then, she's obviously been working on this variety and trying to improve it and make it a better and more sustainable product for not just sustainable environmentally, but something that can be cultivated and used and grown. So that's something that she works very hard on. And I don't know if this is exactly the photo, but maybe this is not exactly it. But if you do follow her, she goes on tours of her nursery here, and she has all these plots. And what's neat is that sometimes she has these areas on her farm where they're just sort of random plants. So she'll put a bunch of different seeds in the ground, and then hopefully the bees are gonna pollinate them and try to create some new varieties based off of that. So she'll have this entire plot of land where it'll have like plants that are short, plants that are tall, plants that are like beautifully green, plants that are not so green, but they have like lots of cotton balls on them. So based off of all of that, of like, what she sees happening in nature, she's going to go and then like, cultivate the ones that she think are the best ones and see how that will then, progress forward in terms of creating a new a new line.
Yeah,
right.
Like that from the conversation, like one thing that I took away was like, because I was my understanding was that like she does like do this pollination, like, oh, I take this flower from this plant and then like pollinate with this one and see what happens, kind of thing. I knew that she was doing that, but like I also kind of like forgot that nature also does that.
Right.
It's like, and she's hoping that the bees would do some wonders, but like even if she's not planning on it, bees still gonna come around and do things,
right,
whatever happens. So as long as it's outside, like it's kind of out of your control. Like you can't control 100% of what happens in the nature, obviously, but like I just kind of forgot that aspect of it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, bees.
Nature finds a way, and here's a beautiful saffron,
so
right?
red,
and you can see just how red it is. So, of course, when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's a lot of it also depends on nature. Nature has to provide you with this beautiful conditions to grow it a certain way, and you can see that there's some variations here. Some are more orange than others, and when you blend it down, obviously it's some things might change in tone, but you can see the comparison from like this plant to this plant, that sometimes you get that one magic plant out of the bunch that's going to create like these traits that you are really, really desirable, and that's maybe from where you're going to cultivate the seeds for the next year's batch, and try to create a line based off of that. So this type of farming, this type of production is very unconventional, right? It's not the way that the mainstream is going to create a product line. We're hoping that things come out the way that they come. And if they don't, we're still going to run with it and find, beautiful ways to, express these colors.
Yeah, I think there's something special about leaving it up to the nature also.
Right.
It's just like...
I think there's something really fantastically luxurious about that as well, right? Because, if you think about like, however way you want to feel about diamonds or precious gemstones or things like that, there are the synthetic varieties. There are ones that look, there's the synthetic lab-grown diamonds. There's the Swarovski crystals. There's, all these things that look like a beautiful, perfect diamond, right? But why is the perfect, beautiful diamond, of course, look, I know you're going to say there's a conglomeration in this and that, but why do people like really value the ones that come from nature so much? Because they're just incredibly rare, right? They're just incredibly rare. To get those details out of nature is something that I think humans are drawn to, right? And that's why with this stuff, when the cotton comes out just perfectly, right? We're drawn to it because it must be inherent in our bodies or something like that. But I don't know what it is with me when it comes to this, because ever since the very beginning, before we even got to work with FoxFibre, we heard about it. We saw it. And we're like, what's going on with that? Like, and we were drawn to it.
Yeah,
we were just drawn to it, like a moth, like a bee, like the bugs to the light.
It's just to me, it's very similar to like like seeing like artificially faded jeans versus like faded by Persian jeans. There's a significant difference, and it's like, yes, like technologies and like all of our abilities,
that's a good one
progress
too.
Like of course it's progressive, it gets better and better, like all these tools that we can use to make jeans look authentically vintage.
Yeah,
but there's an inherent difference between the actual vintage and
right.
the manufactured vintage. So it's just similar to that idea where like something that just happened by nature over time is always have something special, like, you know, like emotionally like special attachment to
humans.
Yeah,
that's it. That's really, exactly. You know, the faded denim is another great analogy there. So yeah,
and that's also kind of like, you know, like I did this, like, you know, embroidery by hand, and, you know,
it's not perfect.
It's not perfect, and it's like it takes so much more time, and it's less perfect, like less
right,
consistent and good in terms of quality than computerized, perhaps. But there is something to it that I do it one by one, so that's why like I want to continue doing it.
You see the imperfection in it, and you realize it was done by hand. It was done by person, and there's a value that I think inherently we see in those kinds of things, right?
Perhaps,
you know, when things are too perfect, they look too perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks sorry, I kicked the camera, but it looks unnatural, right? But when things are, I would say, perfectly imperfect, that's when you perfectly imperfect, like it's as good as nature can make it, right?
Yeah. And you know, I mean, to be fair, cotton is still, you know, with human hands,
right?
Like created by nature too. But you know, I don't know. I think it might be something that, you know, like Sally, one time when we were talking, she mentioned how like it feels on your skin, like it feels different when it's organic, like, you know, cotton. And I feel like those are things that you can't quantify.
Yeah, without getting too hippy dippy about it, you know what I mean?
And it's just like, I don't want to sound like I have this, you know, like belief in something that
like there's an aura about,
right? Exactly.
But there seems to be something that draws us to it,
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a weird tangent, but
yeah. Don Chaco says, did I hear Tannen steep the cotton into tea for a future snack segment? I don't know if the cotton itself will make a nice tea, but Sally does grow some heritage wheat on her farm, and we have done the Sally Fox wheat cookie snack time. Yeah. We've done it once before. Also, just interesting, on her farm, she had some heritage. Is that the right word? Because we're talking about varieties of cotton that haven't been around for over 150 years. Mm-hmm. She was talking about growing like cotton varieties from the 1840s, right? Yeah. Like, and that's really unbelievable. And I was thinking about that too, and you know, because these are the grandparents of the modern high quality cottons that we have today. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, these were sort of the best of the best from back then. And again, what they had back then in terms of like cultivating cotton was probably more similar to like how some of the organic cotton farmers are doing things today, right? And so it kind of just seems like it's steeped in some sort of tradition there. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, what could be really cool, this is just fantasy planning, and but if you think about vintage and like how far back can you go to make something like really authentically vintage, right? You know, I would say that in a lot of our realm, you know, it boils down to construction, right? You can get a lot of the old machines, right? You know, those things were built to last. Even if they're broken, a lot of them can be repaired and brought up to speed. Fine. Got the construction. The knitting machines. There's a lot of those old knitting machines. Not a lot, but they're around. You can get them. But where it all falls apart is the cotton and the spinning, right? And technically, you know, one of the spinners we work with, they have like an old line of spinning machines. And so, like, I don't know exactly how old they are, but right. But if you wanted to really reproduce something like like as authentically vintage as possible, it would be like trying to cultivate the cotton that came from that particular era, right? Then spinning it on period appropriate spinning machines, and then utilizing the construction methods and knitting, physical knitting methods of the time to create something like mega specific. And like, I don't know, I think that's kind of cool, but I don't know if that's like a mega call out from anybody.
It's also, yeah, like, I mean, it's great.
Oh,
but
Seattle Grand Slam.
Oh.
Ooh, all right.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry, the Jays will be back.
What was I saying? Yeah, it's also like, like there are restored like machines from certain times, but not before, and then you have to line it all up in the same year that is possible. You have to aim for, because the machine wise, it's like, there's legendary machines, and then there's like, somewhere in between, and like, you have to line it all up to the same like era, like same at least like 10-year period, and then have somebody like grow the cotton from that era, which may not be something special. It may be just like, this was common back then, kind of cotton, and it's like
right, there was the common cotton of the time, and then there was the ultra premium cotton of the time. And imagine you use the ultra premium cotton of the time to create a premium version of a vintage item, all period specific, all very super nerdy. This is anyhow. Sometimes I think about that kind of stuff, and
it would just be insanely expensive for not a lot of.
But it's just for bragging rights. I made the first real vintage T-shirt, and
Anyhow. And it's kind of funny because like sometimes I think about how like we in the market now, like we value the denim from salvage shuttle loom times, right? Like because that's like a significantly different than the modern method, but still relatively achievable in kind of mass still, right? But like if you wanted to go even further back, then you have to like do the hand loom and stuff like that, and then it gets too expensive. So it's just like where is the line? There's the kind of like a perfect match between like still attainable, like without like really breaking your bank kind of thing, and the quality and all that. I don't know. It's just like it gets into like this like mind puzzle of like where should we aim for?
Right. I mean, this would be a full passion project if you were to do it. It's not. I don't think it's like it's something that.
I feel like this would be a great like a crowdfunding project. Just
crowdfunding. I wouldn't crowdfund it. I'd just make it.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, to gauge how many people are interested in this.
Just go. Just do it. Anyhow, we're probably not going to do it. By probably not means it's still a 1% chance, which means it's not impossible. I'm sure Risa will be very happy to go through all these details with everybody. It's like I can just imagine this production meeting. It's like, okay, guys, we have an idea here. We want to make a T-shirt as difficultly as humanly possible, and I just know that they're going to be very excited for that one. Nick Pugh says we're happy to nerd out with you guys. Well, I'm glad. That's what these live streams are for, after all. Drew says, I have a question about a triple heavy T-shirt. Could you explain a bit why it's high price? I like it. Triple heavyweight Tsuriami.
Yes, they're coming back this year. Yeah. We will bring it back after a year of hiatus. That fabric is 593 or 4 GSM. That's the That's the weight, and it is literally 3 times the weight of a typical heavyweight t-shirt, which is about like 6 ounce, about like 200 GSM is what like they call, like it's generally called heavyweight. So this is almost 3 times that, almost 600 GSM. So it's basically exactly 3 times the typical heavyweight t-shirt. We decided to do this because it's such a, like, double heavyweight is like heavy, like really heavy, but it's like really wearable. And this one is like actually like a sweatshirt level like weight, and it's very, very like not the most practical t-shirt. So that's why we went with all the way luxury. You know, we used Tsuriami machine to make this fabric, and we also kind of like decided to go with the all Texas cotton, so like all American grown cotton. And this yarns that we use to make this is also very slubby, so it's not only heavyweight, it is a very textured fabric. And especially, you know, like combined with the Tsuriami knitting method, it's just, it creates this beautiful, beautiful fabric. And, you know, it is an expensive thing because nobody wants this. Nobody asked for this.
Yeah. Nobody asked for this.
So everything is kind of like a special made.
I'm going to put my sweater back.
Yeah, so that's why the price is the price. But you know, it's one of those things where like we know that it's not going to be our best-selling item. We know that we get, you know, a lot of people telling me that, like, you know, we're just crazy for making t-shirts that are that expensive. But you know, it costs what it costs, and we just thought that, like, even at this cost, that people would appreciate this level of heavyweight t-shirt. We just wanted to make sure that we make the heaviest and the highest quality t-shirts that we could make. And that's what, you know, we, like, price was not a concern to us at that point. We just wanted to make it. And that's kind of why, like, it happens oftentimes when you're not trying to cut cost in each step of the way. Things do get really, really expensive. And a lot of the times when we develop our products, we have to keep kind of price in the back of our heads, even though, you know, sometimes things end up being like really, really expensive, and then we still do it. But a lot of the times, like, you just have to kind of balance things out, whereas this one did not care. Yeah.
And so the other thing with this one, every now and then, like, I might see like somebody made a post somewhere and they're like, wow, that t-shirt's expensive, and, like, you know, for a t-shirt, that much money for a t-shirt.
But this is not a t-shirt.
Right. Oh no. Final 6-2 Seattle.
Wow.
All right. Well, the Jays are in a now or never sort of situation. All right. It's okay. It's okay. They're gonna be back.
They did well. Yeah.
They're gonna be back. But with the Tsuriami, the triple heavyweight, it's also 3 times the weight of a conventional heavyweight t-shirt. So when people sometimes, like, they look at the price, and I remember one on a forum post somewhere, somebody was like, yeah, but if you consider the weight and you consider like 3 regular heavyweight t-shirts, it's about the same price. So, like, as far as like they were breaking it down by like cost of like cotton weight to the garment, and like they're like, yeah, they're about the same price. And I understand that it's 1 t-shirt versus 3 t-shirts, but if you want 1 triple heavyweight t-shirt, that's just sort of a 1 triple heavyweight t-shirt Tsuriami knit with a very particular cotton, then that's sort of where you end up in price land. And, you know, I would say that, like, in our realm, like, the more specific you get, you know, that increases sort of the cost.
Yeah.
Now, as somebody asked, why Texas cotton? Texas cotton has a shorter staple, so it gives it like sort of that rugged look,
texture. Yeah.
Right? And like these are some of the things that we play with when we're making garments. Like you should consider, you know, the cotton types when it comes to like what it is that you're trying to create. And we wanted to create a very rugged t-shirt, and I mean, just look at the texture of this guy. It looks like, slubby denim, that super slubby denim from far. Like, you really get a lot of that texture here. And like, when you pick it up and when you feel it, you're like, okay, this thing's a tank. I get it. I also get that it's very pricey and it's not for everybody. It's not particularly practical, but we make it for the people who want exactly this.
Yeah. And
right?
I think that the fact that every time we make it tends to be, popular. It just means that enough people want that crazy monster heavyweight t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, it's like the 32 ounce or the 40 ounce jeans. You know what I mean? Like, they're not for everybody, but for the people who want them, they love them. And they're for that character. Yeah. They're for that customer. And, we've got everything from, soft and comfortable Ultimate Pima, recycled ELS, double heavyweight, triple heavyweight. We've got something for everybody.
Yeah. And, I think the kind of reason that we decided to, just go with the ultimate heavyweight t-shirt was, because, double heavyweight is just, normal people use. And people are debating if that's the heaviest t-shirt ever. Yeah. And it's like,
hold my coffee.
Yeah. Let's just kind of put a period on that. Yeah. There's definitive answer. And I feel that it is the definitive answer.
Yeah. I'm going to say that I'm going to go on record. This is the definitive answer. I've seen other people with higher ounce claims, but let's go back to Wonder Looper 101 and ounce claims, because I've also seen people make ounce claims for heavier sweatshirts than us, and they're not. Just to let you know, here's a pro tip. If you ever want to start a knitwear brand that will be instantly successful, do these two things. Okay, say that they're loop knit, and that they are really, really heavy, and provide no evidence of either one of those things. And there are a lot of people who will literally just take it at face value and buy it. Mm-hmm. I don't do that, but I see people do that, and they seemingly sell product.
Yeah. And
that's fine, right? I would say that ultimately, if the quality of the product wasn't satisfactory to the customer, then they wouldn't have a business. So there has to be some sort of satisfaction coming from the product. But I'm just saying that a lot of people have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to knitwear, and they just throw a lot of numbers out at you, hoping that they can catch you up in all this. A lot of people, they just see ounce claims, and that's enough for them. Mm-hmm. This is a heavy ounce sweatshirt.
Yeah.
But ounces of what, right? It always boils down to ounces of what. So.
Yeah. And you should be a little skeptical of things that are, kind of weight, for instance. Yeah. Okay, you might not know exact, ounce or GSM by touching a fabric, but you can definitely tell when you have a fabric in your hand that is claiming to be certain weights. You can definitely tell which one's heavier. Yeah. And I think we really encourage people to feel it that. And, maybe you don't have a store nearby and whatever, comparing is hard. You even look at it close. If you get to if you have a close-up look of a fabric of an item, you can tell. You can't make super heavyweight with a tiny little thin
right. I'll do a comparison.
Yarns.
Right.
It's one of those things where if it's debatable weight, okay, well it's hard to tell by just holding the garment, but when you hold double heavyweight, triple heavyweight, and
here
Ultimate Pima.
Ultimate Pima for us is one of our lighter weight shirts.
Yeah, that's about 200 GSM, which is what
a typical heavyweight is.
Line for heavyweight. Yeah, it's 200 GSM. So double heavyweight is 409 GSM, which is really the double of the Ultimate Pima. and then triple is triple.
Yeah. So if someone's claiming their t-shirt is heavier than this, but their like, knit pattern looks like this or like this, then
that's a lie.
Yeah, that's just a giant lie. So on the surface itself, you might be able to tell on its own, right? So that's a good example. Maybe I should do like a proper Instagram photo, just comparing the weight and
macro photo of.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I'll do that this week. But ultimately, watch out for people who just say ounce. If it just says ounce and there's no GSM number next to it, then you don't know what that ounce is. In denim, ounces per square yard, and I think a lot of people see 14-ounce jeans or 14-ounce denim, and they're just okay, yeah, that means 14 ounces per square yard. Maybe people make that immediate connection. But in knitwear, when you buy from the roll, the ounce claim is for linear yard, not square yard, linear yard. So 1 yard of the fabric, and depending on the width of the fabric, that number can change a lot. So the GSM, like ounces per square yard, are of a particular unit of measurement: grams per square meter, ounces per square yard. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how wide or not wide the fabric is. We're always measuring the exact same size of fabric.
Yes.
Right? When you get that number.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will just take the ounces per linear yard, because knitwear is, when you're buying fabric, it's in knitwear specifically, it's almost always they're gonna tell you that this is a weight per linear yard of the fabric. Why they do that, I actually have no idea.
I actually have a theory. I don't know how correct I am, but I think it's based off of
shipping costs.
No, that's what I thought originally. I think it's based off of, because if you're making a fabric, right, like your fabric mill, your knitting mill, you need to buy yarns from yarn supplier, and you buy that, you have a specification of how, what size yarns you're buying, like the I guess girth of the yarn, that's called size, and you have different sizes. You know what size you need, but it depends on what you're making. You're kind of you're buying the yarn from a yarn supplier by weight. It's not
that's true.
The length, it's the weight that you buy. You're buying 300 kilogram of these yarns, or those are the units that you buy. So like as a fabric mill, you have to calculate how many kilograms of these yarns you need to create these rolls, however many rolls that we need to make, right? So I think that's why, like, as a fabric mill, you need to know what's the weight per linear yard, and I or linear meter, and I will just buy the if I need to make 100 meters, then I'll buy 100 times the weight of the linear meter gram or weight. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm not very good at explaining things, but like if you put yourself into the shoes of a fabric mill, and you need to do the calculation of how many kilograms of yarns you need to buy. That's what the information you need is what size yarn you need, and also how much to make 1 meter of this fabric, because I need to make 100 meters of this fabric. So if 1 meter costs is 100 grams per meter, then it means that I need a kilogram of yarn, right? To make that fabric, 100 meters of that fabric. So I think that's the like where this idea comes from. And so as a fabric mill, if somebody asks us like, oh, what's the weight, then you answer it by like, oh, this is
but I understand that, like, if you're talking to your supplier, like when you're buying the yarn, but when it comes to like a consumer,
and oftentimes the brand is asking, or like, sewing factories asking for that information in terms of like, oh, how much thickness do I have to deal with?
Right.
But also, sewing factory is considering how much, you know, they also need to know the width. So they would have both information. If a brand asks sewing factory, like, what is the weight? Like, technically, they should be able to tell you because they know the width of the fabric and they know the weight of the, they can get the weight of the fabric from the mill. So it's like they can do the calculation for you if you're persistent, but like sometimes, you know, the people just ask a question without being specific, and I could get the information wrong.
Right. Bottom line is like what generally happens is that when they get the weight information from the mill or the factory or whoever they're buying their end product from, they're just going to give them a number. And what's the weight? And like the mill might say, oh, it's 20 ounces. Because in their world, it is 20 ounces per linear yard. But of course, from a consumer perspective, where nobody is thinking in linear yards, but you hear this number 20 ounces, 24 ounces, 36 ounces, and it doesn't technically make a lot of sense. Right. But I'm going to say that people just run with that information. Mostly, I'm not calling them stupid. I'm just saying it's out of their own ignorance. And the ignorance is just a lack of knowledge. They don't understand completely how this works, or maybe they're careless. Some people lie. I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen knitwear brands just full on lie. But that's really where it comes from. Yeah.
And Davey Boy has a good point here. And people often think anything without side seams loop-wheeled. Companies like Bronson back on that, I think. I don't want to like talk about the specific companies, but it is true. It's a lot of the time it's like consumer wise, I think they tend to think that there is an idea in the minds of consumer that like, oh, there's no
circular body,
that means it's a loop wheeled fabric,
or a Tsuriami like hanging vintage knitting machine fabric,
and a lot of people don't correct that assumption, and I think that's wrong.
And I feel that they don't correct that assumption because they also don't know. Maybe it comes from a place of ignorance. Maybe for whatever reason it is. But the point is that I think a lot of customers, they see selvage denim, and selvage denim has this very clear indication of this was made on a vintage machine. Yeah. Whereas a knitwear, it is absolutely not clear whether it is made on a vintage machine, like a hanging circular knitting machine. We call it Tsuriami here in Japan, or a more modern sinker machine, right? And by modern, I mean, look, sinker machines are still made to this very day, but they're also 60, 70 years old. Like, there's ones that are really, really old too, right? It's just, it's more modern than the ones that came from like the late 1800s, early 1900s. Like, right. You know. Yes. So some people, they just look and they're like, well, how can I easily justify, like, why is this a premium t-shirt? Oh, well, it's circular knit. And like a lot, like, I will put it out there. Like, if we have a circular knit product, I don't think we have any circular knit products, but sorry, we have circular knit products, but we don't have any tubular body tubular construction, right? There's a lot of, it's not misinformation. It's just a lot of the information comes in pieces, and like putting it all together is not exactly easy for like the general consumer to do because they have lives and they have things to do, and like,
Yeah, and I would even say it's hard as a brand to always have a correct information. We're often removed from the manufacturing background, and like, the reason why, like, I think we can have this conversation is because we know and we ask questions, and oftentimes like we rely on our relationship with these mills, people who work at the mills to get the correct information. There's so many people in the process of making a garment that it really, like, the information gets lost in each step. So it is not easy, even if you're meaning well. Like you might not even get the right information if you're not like asking the right people.
Right. Enbra says Hanes sells tees with no side seams for like $6.
Exactly.
Right.
It's even a way to
to
cost
cut.
Yes.
Yeah, it's precisely a way to cost cut, because when you don't have any side seams, that means you don't have to cut the fabric. It's already made to your specification. And what do you need to do? You need to add a collar. You need to add some sleeves. You're done. It is absolutely a way to cost cut.
Yeah.
But it is also sometimes a way to just, hey, if you have your size, you have your body tuned in, then it's also an efficiency thing, right? And like, sometimes there's no need for that. But if you were like, for example, we're using a lot of times we're using Tsuriami fabrics, and and sometimes we're using sinker fabrics, like with the double heavyweights. Us having side seams is also a way for us to be efficient. So sometimes there's an efficiency on, hey, there's less sewing, but for us, because we're not the size of Hanes, right? We can't make every size we want to have its own tube body. So we have to use a machine that can make a fabric at a decent width for us, that we can cut and that we can get the most out of it. We can get the most sizes out of these widths, because we can't make 1 million t-shirts. We don't have that customer base, right? We're not selling to Walmart or places like that. So, for us, having side seams is part of being efficient. And then when we do our construction, we do flat seam construction because we want to keep it as seamless as possible. But obviously, we have to have seams. So now we use the flattest seam that we can have.
Yeah.
And we can also tailor our fits a little bit more. And that is sort of also the benefit of cut and sew. You have more options for tailoring. So.
Right. But yeah, like, unfortunately, like, we do get, fortunately maybe, that we do get like responses like, oh, I thought I was buying a Tsuriami t-shirt from you guys, and why does it come with a side seam? And, that we kind of take that as an opportunity to educate the consumers, but because, it's like, I feel like it's not easy to get a straight answer always. So that in a small way, like little by little, we're putting out more information. And as we learn too, like, we were also not like the masters of t-shirts and cut and sew, world at all yet. So we learn every day new things. But I just feel like it's because knitwear is a little bit kind of behind on having the information out there. There isn't like and like Reza said, it's not like a clear thing that you can point to. Oftentimes it's hard to, it's more kind of behind the, like a little fog still, right. I feel. So, we'll just trying to make it a little bit more clear.
Yeah. Chris asks, are the sizes on the triple heavyweights on the website correct? Measurements. You made the others tees sizes larger for large XL, double XL. We made a size adjustment last spring, if you remember. The triple heavyweight batch that's coming at the end of October, November. Have we adjusted the measurement chart yet?
Don't remember. I gotta double check.
We gotta double check. I don't think, my thought on this is, I don't think that we updated yet, because I don't think we've had an updated triple heavyweight release since we made the size updates.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, I'll double check.
Good question.
Yeah.
I don't remember offhand.
Yes.
But regardless, before the release of that, we will let you know.
Yeah.
If and when the size chart is like perfectly okay to go with. Okay, that was a good question. Sometimes, see, there's a lot of stuff going on. Can't remember everything, and
in fact, I'm just gonna write on my to-do list.
There we go. So we have notepad. By the way, I think we have like the largest collection of Post-it notes. Like,
just write everything.
We write everything on Post-it notes, and they're everywhere in here. Like, we buy them by like giant stacks like this, like every color. We're very good friends with the Post-it note, although they don't seem to know us at all. You know what I mean?
It's okay.
The people at the 3M, I think they make the Post-it notes. Shout us out. Give us a call. We're happy to work with you. Karen says, aloha from Hawaii. Looking forward to wearing my Iron Mordant FoxFibre t-shirt embroidered with my daughter's initials to some fall family pictures tomorrow.
Oh, that's very sweet.
That's fantastic.
I remember embroidering. Those I think came out really nice.
All right. Yeah. I want to, Risa does like actually photograph like most of her work, but we don't post them up so often.
I know. I just don't want to bombard everybody with that, like, because I have bazillion at this point.
I know that, you know, sometimes you see on Instagram, like you see people's like work environments and like they show, oh, this order came in, and like they're showing everyone's things. And like, I don't know, maybe, because sometimes I want to show it off, but I also don't want to do it without permission. And sometimes I would feel a little bad. You know what I mean?
Like in the beginning, like I do it sometimes. Well, I did it back in the day sometimes, but I was very careful of like doing it after like a certain period of time. And that, I think that's why like I stopped like posting, because I just like couldn't keep track of how long it, like, you know, how long ago it was and stuff like that. But like, I just don't want, like, because I know that sometimes people use that as a gift. And I don't want to like have a surprise, although it's very like unlikely that whoever they're gifting already follow us on Instagram or whatever. But I just didn't want to do that. So
yeah, I get a little wary. I'm not sure how to treat that. Like if people are going to be offended that I posted a photo of the... I don't think so.
And to be fair, if they're willing to wear that on their chest or wherever, like, and walk out in the world,
that's true.
That should be fine. Like, I'm not posting their face or like address or you know, full name even. Like, it's just often initial or first name or like a word that they like.
Right.
So I don't think that's an issue, but we do need to kind of figure out a kind of a way to have a collection so that people who are ordering can review it and see what
kind of things have been done. Yeah. Because sometimes people send emails and they ask like, what does this look like? What does that look like?
And I often have a thing, so I look in my folder and it's just like, here's what I done in the past. And if we have the thing already on Instagram or whatever, I think that might be useful.
That's another to-do list. Okay, very good. Okay. A pimp named Slickback says, a very, very important message, hit the like button, everybody. And if you haven't done so already, then do that. Help us out with a little bit of like. It's a free little bit of love that you can share with us, and it goes a long way. And then Drew, the Ringmaster asks, which products can I add embroidery to?
Everything.
There you go. Simple answer. Everything. Yeah. Whether it's a hoodie or a sweatpant or a t-shirt, we can add embroidery to it. Generally speaking, it's left side. Yeah.
Is on top. The left chest is like the most
default sort of. Yeah.
Place. I do on the t-shirts I can do on the sleeve.
Yeah.
Like right above the cuff. On the sweatshirts I can also do on the rib.
On the cuff.
Yeah, on the cuff. And you know, I mean, I if you have any special requests, I'll figure out if it's possible or not, depending on the item. There's, you know, placement that I can do and can't do, but in general, I would stick with those like places just because, like, you know,
I will say don't go too off the menu. Yeah. I will say that in the real world, like if you haven't seen embroidery there before, probably you know what I mean? Sometimes you just have to base like, oh, you know, embroidery here looks good because it looks good. I mean, you see it on every t-shirt and, you know, every logo brand, whatever something's monogrammed right here, right?
Yes.
It's a good spot. On the shoulder, it's a good spot. Every now and then, here's the problem, right? It's because every now and then, like, you get something that's like wildly off the menu. And you're like, technically I can do it. But sometimes it's like having to write that email and being like, look, man, this is not a great idea. You know, because they're telling you their idea. Like, they want something, and like, you have to turn around and be like, I can do it, but I don't think we should do it, and I kind of don't want to do it, right? Because I don't want you to be disappointed with it. Like, I don't want you, like, if you, like, I just remember, like, this is going way, way back in, like, the Naked and Famous Denim days. Like, we used to do these events called, these, like, tailor to measure events, right? Where we would go with a bunch of, like, fabric swatches, a bunch of threads, like, all the different thread colors you can get, leather patches, and we would customize jeans for you. Huge nightmare, by the way, huge nightmare. But oftentimes we would get somebody and they're like, all right, they are ready to design their jeans. And, like, this is their opportunity to do it. Here we go. And, like, this wasn't cheap because it was, like, one-offs. It was going to be sampling price. Like, it was going to be pricey. And, like, you'd get people in and they're like, all right, so I'm going to do this fabric. And we're like, great. And they're like, these rivets, great. Okay, now I want red stitching over here and I want green stitching over here. And we're just like, uh-oh. Right? And they're like, okay, and then give me that funky leather patch. And, like, you're like, no, you're here and you're like, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. And then they're like, no, just do it. Like, in their mind, it looks a lot better.
And also,
right?
Like, you know, because you get to have, like, you don't get to have a out of the menu things with most occasions.
Right.
So just because, like, it's possible, like, you get excited and you feel like you need to do something wild in order to take advantage of the situation. I think I think that's a lot.
But we ran into issues where, like, we'd make that jean, like, sort of reluctantly, and, like, we delivered it to the store and the store was like, oh, the customer hates it. And, like, what can we do? Because the customer doesn't want to buy it, and we're just like, well, that's sort of a problem. And, like, I don't want to run into that problem. So, like, ever since we sort of ran into some of those problems, like, you know, I would be there to, like, be there with the customer, really guiding them through that step. Like, not that I want to create conventional jeans. I still want them to have something very, very special.
Right.
But I wanted to, like, guide them away from, like, the Ninja Turtles colors all on one jean. It wasn't the right jean. You weren't going to wear it. You weren't going to be happy with it, right? Let's make something special, but let's also have it in the realm of, like, wearable and reality. So, like, sometimes, like, the embroidery requests, they're like, sometimes they want, like, a novel written on there, and we're like, we can't do that. Like, we can, but we can't. Like, you don't want that. This is a pretty, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, so it's not like being a print, right? If it's a print, that's different. But this is an embroidery. It looks, it functions and it looks very, very differently. So,
and ultimately, like, I do think that this is also under Looper products, and we should be able to kind of have a control over what we put out, even if it's just one. You know, so I do sometimes kind of nudge people in a direction, but if they insist, like, I also like, you know, I feel like, okay, well, like, if you're sure, then I can do it. I'll do it.
At the very least, if they're not happy with it, you can take out the embroidery.
Right.
So it is not like a tattoo or you're married to it. You can take it out. Maybe there'll be some small holes after you wash it. You know, it should be fine, right?
Okay, yeah.
But at the very least, it is not, like, ultra permanent. Now, everybody's saying, "What's the weirdest thing embroidered?" and everyone's saying juicy. No,
I mean, surprisingly, no. Everybody sticks to the menu in general, and, like, even off menu in terms of, like, oh, I want, like, a different color, or I want like a different placement. It's usually, like, you know, like, not really crazy, and I'll just be like,
the reality is, like, less than 1% are like they're being very I'll say it, they're being very creative,
right?
And maybe too creative, and that's why we have to sort of dial it back a little bit,
right? And I rarely have to do that, to be fair, but
most embroiderers are, look, I say stick to the hits. Yes. You're not sure what to embroider, but you want embroidery, WL, that looks great. Your initials, your kid's initials, your name, right? If you know, Joe looks great, you know, Joe, you know, like something short, nice, the word happy, hello, like those kind of things, they work really good. Your city name, you know, Depends on the length of the city. That's the other thing, because there is like a character limit, and like we don't do that to be like unfair, right? But if you want to put like Massachusetts, I can't even say it. It's long, right?
Yes. And sometimes, like, if you have a small size T-shirt with like long, line, it's way too weird to put in one. And I can't do it smaller.
Right.
Bingo.
With print, that's the thing.
You can make it smaller. I can't do it. So there's just that's why the character limit exists, in order to kind of let you know that this is the limit. And depending on the like a combination of letters, some things with 8 characters is still longer, and other things with 8 characters like perfectly fine. So it really depends, but that's kind of an indication of 8 is kind of the limit. And then if you want to go over 1 and it happens to be one of those things that fits nicely, and you happen to be ordering extra large, then I have no problem with that.
Yeah, because like you said, the embroidery is a specific size. Like, you really can't get any smaller than that.
I try, but
with the print, no problem. You can put as long as the name as you want. You just make it smaller. It's going to fit a certain area. But with the embroidery, there are some limitations there too. So just keep that in mind. I know, like, with the double heavyweights, I mean, with every release, there's always embroideries, and like 90. Like anything, 99.9 are all fine and dandy and no problem. Sometimes they get a little wild. And then, like, sometimes people will ask for, like, an embroidery and a placement that's not possible. So, anyhow, if you do have a request that is off the menu, send us an email. But I would just say that, like, if it's really wild, maybe give that one a second thought.
Yeah.
Give it a second thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And please be gracious about the
timing. Yeah.
It's like, I know I try not to make anybody wait way too long, but during the release it's hard, because this time we have a little help in the warehouse in terms of shipping, so I have maybe less time I have to be actually picking and shipping, and maybe more time I can dedicate to embroidery, but we'll see how it goes. I always end up like kind of complaining about embroidery, and I really don't want to do that. Like, I just that's like I said, I really enjoy that part of my job, and I want to deliver the best quality things. I
will say that, like, as far as your workload, if it's standard requests, you can work a lot faster, right? Because again, if sometimes things go off the menu, or it's a little bit like really out there, like, you got to do this back and forth with the customer, and that really slows sort of the whole like process down. But like initials, your name, those are the best ones to go with. Somebody was asking if we can embroider the knit caps when they're ready. What do you think, Risa? Is that going to be embroiderable?
I think so, but I do have to practice, because
you'll test it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't know how much, like,
the stretch will affect things.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I have embroidered stretchy things before, so like and waffle, it wasn't a problem, but I do have to practice and see how much I can do.
Because it'll be, anyhow, you know what to do. TBD. If you want it TBD embroidered, TBD. Nick says, I actually like that all my Wonder Looper items don't have logos on them. Right. We do that on purpose. But we know that sometimes people want an embroidery, but they're not really sure what to do. WL is it's I think it's just handsome. We don't have a logo that is like, it's not a Nike check mark. You know what I mean? Like, it's not known worldwide. So like WL, like it just looks like a, a nice little like an embroider, but what's the word I'm thinking of? Sort of a customization, Yeah. But
a little topping on the little cake. But we, our main stuff is the fabric, and we don't want to take that away. Take attention away from that. That's why we don't do anything significant or
we try to do nice labels at the very least, so that there's something, but it's on the inside. You know what I mean? It's not really it looks nice on the photos, but it's for you to make it look nice for you. But yeah, the only time, like, I don't think we're ever gonna make like a Wonder Looper logo T-shirt or anything like that. But I'm not opposed to. Like, I don't wear a lot of prints myself, but, like, I'm not opposed to it. Like, I like those collegiate style prints and things like that. So, I would say that I wouldn't rule it out completely that one day, like, we might have, like, some sort of graphic T-shirt.
If it's a nice graphic, I think it's nice.
But it'll also be generic. Like, it's not going to say Wonder Looper, it's going to say, Yokohama and have a boat or something on it. I don't know. Something, like, it'll be, I like those collegiate or, like, those, souvenir style T-shirts, things like that,
like one thing I've been wanting to, we talked about it, that we haven't really been spending any time investigating it, is definitely the patch, the felt patch that you put on like a varsity jacket kind of things, like a big letter. So eventually we want to get to it.
Yeah.
We have, heavyweight sweatshirts. It's kind of like a jacket. Yeah. We can put like a patch.
Big collegiate style patch on there. Bean says, whoa, I missed the knit caps announcement. That's awesome. Well, good. You can catch up in the replay. We've got a bit of a breakdown for you there as well. Steven asks, what would be harder to embroider, a perfect square or a perfect circle?
Perfect square is a lot harder with the chain stitching machine because the corners are relatively difficult. Although if it's a square, if it's like sharp edges, it's difficult. I don't know. If I have to freehand, definitely circle, because circles are harder to draw.
Right. Okay. So you don't know.
I don't know.
All right.
I need more information on this potential. How
big is the circle or square? Keith says, is that orange stuff behind you on the rack a pro toe of the new orange Super Looper coming in the spring?
Yes.
Yes, it is. We'll bring it up.
Yeah, the Super Looper. Oh, I don't know if we talked about this, but Super Looper next year is going to come in 2 batches, certain colors first and other colors later.
So that's the orange?
Yeah. So this orange is like, it might be hard to tell depending on your screen, but this is like kind of like, it looks very vivid, but in real life, it's like a muted, vivid orange. So it's like, it used to be vivid, but kind of washed down kind of color is what we aimed for. And I think we were able to achieve that.
In real life, it has a little bit of like a white fuzz over it. Yeah. In the screen, it definitely looks more vivid. And same thing with the purple. It is, in the screen, it is more vivid than it really is. But it is like a classic sporty purple. And like, with the Super Looper, we definitely try to keep things a little bit more sporty, a little bit more collegiate. I mean, that's often what inspires us here. So as Risa was saying with the deliveries, Super Looper next season, thankfully, there's been a big demand growth for us, but the problem is
Tsuriami fabric, so we can't just make a lot.
Yeah, like we've probably mentioned a few times that Tsuriami knitting is, there's not a lot of it happening. And like the lead times just keep getting longer and longer and longer. And so prior, like when we plan everything, we meet with the mill and they sort of have an expectation of what we're going to make that season, like how much allotted time we're going to have on that machine. And they allot that time to us. And they're like, okay, well, we can make only so many meters of fabric per hour. You guys are going to be making this many meters. You're going to be allotted around this much time. So like our production is finite. And so when we did the sales for spring summer 26 with all of our retail partners, everyone wanted Super Looper. They wanted more and more Super Looper. And so when we went back to the mill and said, okay, here's our order, and then you deliver a bigger order than their expectation, in a lot of ways, a company is going to be like, all right, great. You're doing, but in this way, they're like, there's going to be a problem here. And the problem is that like half of the production of Super Looper will be available like earlier in the season, and then the other half of the Super Looper production is going to be available much later in the season. So
later, I think that was the plan.
Okay.
I don't know.
And burgundy, navy, gray, I think are coming earlier.
Burgundy, navy, maybe sumi. I feel like gray was going to come later. I don't know. But
right.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 batches, and that's just how we have to deal with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are just, we got to roll with it sometimes, and that's just how
the
cookie crumbles.
Oh, is it cookie crumbling bad?
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah. It is. It's just the way life goes, right? Xavier says they could have said kick rocks. Glad they're accommodating and more people will get it. They definitely could have said kick rocks, or they would have just said like reduce your quantities. They allocated later space for us, which is great, but it is something that it's like they always tell us like, we're not taking on new customers. And I really feel like we were like at the cusp of them like taking on new customers. At least new customers for Tsuriami. Like they do have sinker machines and things like that. Like the mill that makes our Tsuriami also makes the double heavyweight sweatshirts, and the double heavyweight sweatshirts are made on sinkers rather than the Tsuriami. Now, if we wanted to, like I will say that this is sometimes a thing in my mind where it's just like, do we have to give up the Tsuriami in order to like get the product out to the customer, right? Does the customer really want to have to wait like once a year to get a Super Looper? Like the Super Looper is sporty in tone. Of course, the sumi, the gray, I think the burgundy, these are a little bit more like the navy. Mm-hmm. They're basics, right? We could have them all year, but like if we only did a Tsuriami, we only get these once a year. And like, even if I thought, okay, well, let's just front load a year's worth of inventory, like they're not gonna like, you know what I mean? I ordered half a year's worth of inventory, and that's gonna take like a tremendous amount of time. So like getting the trying to make this in like a bigger scale, I think is very, very hard to do on just Tsuriami. So sometimes I wonder, man, if we give it up, then we could get more of it. Yeah. And we can, anyhow, I don't know how to play that.
Mm-hmm. I think we also should kind of like reduce the size, the colors that we offer, and that would definitely make things a little bit more efficient.
Right. I also thought about if we were to make like an ecru color, then we can natural dye them, right? And so we can have more colors, even though we're just making one fabric instead of a bunch of, colors. That's just another thought of that as well. So the future of Super Looper, right as it is, it's still a once a year restock. I do want to make some natural dyed versions of these.
Right.
But at some point, maybe somewhere, one of our Tsuriami productions is like based on demand, like Ultimate Pima is another example where it's like, it's a Tsuriami knit, but there's like, we sell so much of it, but then it's just gone for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so, I want things to not just instantly come and instantly sell out. Like FoxFibre t-shirts are another example where like they come in, they're gone, and they're gone for a while. But, people want them in term.
Yeah. So. When it comes to FoxFibre t-shirts, I think we're making a progress in terms of getting it restocked more often and having them available like whenever, because oftentimes people just find us in the middle of the season and it's like, oh, the next time you're gonna restock is 4 months away, and it's just like that is not a good experience for anybody. So we're trying to improve, but there's only so many machines and so much we can improve in terms of how efficient we can be.
Yeah. If we stay at this level, then it's probably fine. But I think, every season there's new customers. There's new people who find us. And like if we're consistently making sort of just around the same amount of units per year, then it makes it more scarce, right? I mean, that's how it works. But anyhow, it's a lot of things to consider. What's the question? Philip says, or there's probably a start to that, which I don't see. What? Is Coyote the only FoxFibre color that's mass produced at this point? The Coyote cotton, and mass produced is not the right word, but Coyote is the most cultivated variety at this point.
Yeah, on the market right now, I think if you find anything that's FoxFibre, that's likely it's Coyote.
Yeah. There might be some old stock of, there is, in fact, I know that there's some old stock of Buffalo, which is on reserve for us. And there's like, every now and then they have like a little bit of green that might have stuck around. But like, sometimes with these things, they're like, there's like, 200 kilos of cotton. And it's like, if you want to do a production of something, like, it's okay for socks or hats, but like if you're making t-shirts, like it's just not enough, right? Because like in some, like now we also have to think about weights of cotton, considering how heavy some of the things that we make are. And then Philip says, what if you called the sinker version of the super looper and still, the sinker version of the super looper, the duper looper, and still have the premium super looper? No, I don't think so.
It's too much products, and it's not the best way to like confuse the market.
Yeah, that's the best way to confuse the market.
It's not the best way to handle business if you were confusing. I don't want to confuse ourselves. I don't want to confuse the consumers, and it's. If we can only make certain amount and it sells out, that it is what it is. I think that's fine. Yeah.
So anyhow, let's we'll see. Steven says, making FoxFibre with more traditional cotton blend is there, like Fox 15 would allow for more Fox products too. Yes. Blending it down. So for example, like if there's like only 200 kilograms of something like a buffalo cotton, for example, if we blend it with other fibers, then we can stretch that out a little bit more.
Blending or like, twisting the yarns with micro yarns and stuff. So I think that is a way, but also at the same time, like, something like Coyote and Buffalo are like different variants, but similar in color. So like, Buffalo blend, because we want the kind of, the Buffalo variant to last longer, we could, blend or twist with others, but at the same time we still always want to have a darker color that's the color of the cotton, right? There's a difference between having a Fox 15 and a Fox 80, Fox 70. So I think we know what to do to like
stretch it out
the best out of the FoxFibres.
Jeremy says, why can't the scientist, or maybe an engineer, make more machines? Seems like with 3D scanning and printing, someone could reproduce the Tsuriami sort of hanging knitting machines. I would say that, hey, you know what? If you are an engineer out there in the world and you find that there's a market for this, then go ahead and do it. But I think like anything, like it's a lot easier said than done. And I think there's also a value. There's a value in the old machine. That is the old machine that's been running for 150 years. That's Old Faithful over there. It's like there's the 1960s Mercedes-Benz with the gull wings and the beautiful. And then there's the mechanic, the artist, the amazing craftsman who could make that car today. And they do. They hand build the car. But there's a big difference, right? And I think part of it is the charm of having the old machines running that way. I would say that I would be very happy to see a modern version of one of those machines. But the engineering capability needed to make that thing, and let me put it to you this way, there's a reason why those machines were abandoned 150 years ago. Because everything that came afterwards was far more efficient than at making fabric. And the quality difference was not something that the general consumer cared about.
Yes.
And so if somebody were to make one of those today and say like, hey, I've got this new old machine and I'm trying to sell it to factories all around the world. The factories around the world, the 99% of them make for mass market. They're not interested in making this small batch, bespoke type of fabric. And so you would have a very, very hard time trying to convince a market that has absolutely no need, want, or desire for these machines. And the few mills that do operate this way, maybe they would be interested, but how many are you going to sell them? 2, 3 machines?
It's not economically viable for somebody to develop this and make it in a scale where, like, you know, only a fraction of the factory knitting mills in the world would buy. Like, there's just no. But with that said, you know, like, I think Tsuriami got its moment. Like, I think everybody knows that because of the TV show, and you know, like, that's when, like, general public who weren't previously interested in, like, kind of vintage manufacturing of clothing and all that, like, stuff, kind of woke up to this idea of Tsuriami t-shirt. And even then, I think the market is kind of satisfied with the alternative that they offer, that, you know,
right. Yeah. There are alternatives, and people are like, yeah, well, this is a similar t-shirt.
Same fit. If it looks the same, like, I'm fine with it because I'm only going to be wearing this for the look. Yeah.
Davey Boy says 1 meter an hour is crazy. It makes me appreciate the sweater every time I put it on. That's right. The Tsuriami make it like a 1 meter an hour. It's very, very slow. Here, just in contrast, like a shuttle loom makes 5 meters of fabric per hour, compared to like a modern denim loom is going to do about 25, maybe 30 meters an hour of double the width. Like a sinker machine, what are we doing per hour? Probably like,
I actually don't
maybe know. 5 meters an hour, but still, like, they're not like, denim looms are like, when you see them, it's like they're printing. It's like fabric, like it's coming out like on a printer. Whereas like knitting is like, so like it looks fast, but you're adding such a tiny amount of fabric every time it makes that pass. It's not the same. It's not the same at all.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like, whenever, you know, maybe if you've, like, knitted a hat before, like, one round goes so long because you doing this each time. And, you know, even if it's a machine, it's the same thing. You have to, like, make the what do you call it? Like, you know, the knit, you know. I don't know what you call it.
I don't know. I don't knit.
Like, one at a time, where it's like, you know, like looms, even if it's a hand loom, like you know, put up the warp and then you slide in the left.
Right.
Like that's a whole
row. Line. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a big difference.
Yeah. Big difference between knitting and weaving. Right. Because you're making one loop at a time with all this operation, but yeah, with a woven, it's one full line every pass. So yeah, big difference there. There was something on my mind and then I completely forgot about it, and that happens to me every now and then. BD says, woohoo, 11 orders. That's right, 11 orders. We started at 10, now we're at 11. We did it, everybody. We did it together. Yes, I'm just trying to think for 1 second because I felt like it was something important. It lost me.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're approaching the time.
Yeah.
This is the last live stream before the release.
That's right. Last live stream before the release. So if you have any questions about the release, send us an email. You know, leave a comment in the comment section below here, and we'll be sure to help you out. Oh, looks like we have a package arriving. Risa, anyhow, I'm going to bid everyone farewell here. No snack time today because yesterday you know those super sour candies we tried a couple of weeks ago? I decided to have another one for some unusual reason, and it burnt the crap out of my mouth. And I'm in a little bit of pain. So no snack time today because honestly, I don't think I can taste it. Terrible feeling. It was way more sour this time than before.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Last time I took it, like, you know, I mean, it was painful, but like it was fine afterwards.
Yeah. Yukon Sava says, snack attack. It definitely was. I think it wanted revenge, and it got it. And yeah, my tongue was bleeding. It was I don't know why. I was like, oh, let's have another one of these. That was a mistake. Big mistake. So we're not going to do a snack time today due to physical injury. I'll be back again hopefully next week, 100% ready to go with something interesting for y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, this has been the Wonder Looper live stream, the greatest live stream in the history of all live streams. We will be back again next week, same time, same place, Friday evening, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern, Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern, Wonder Looper live stream. It will be the day after the release. So, at least here for us. Yeah, anyhow, I lost my train of thought. Do something nice for yourself and
somebody else.
That's it. And we'll see you guys next week.
Guys.
All right. Bye, everyone.